These spokes are ropes. These ropes are spokes. I tried lacing a set of Berd fabric spokes onto my Ibis carbon rims to try and solve a specific problem I had. And then I gingerly rode around on flat cement for the last 2 weeks to prepare for this review video. Just kidding, I threw on some DH tires and spent the last 6 months smashing, jumping, dropping, racing, and casing my way through the Canadian Rocky Mountains just so I could answer your 2 burning questions. Ryan, did those spokes kill you? No. Well, okay, but are rope spokes any good? Let's have a little chat about that. Now, the juicy bit of these Berd spokes is made of ultra-high molecular weight polyethylene, which has 12 times the strength to weight ratio as steel, apparently. Also, they're so light that they'll float on water. And weight is one of the 2 reasons why I wanted to try these spokes. You see, I wanted to try to create the Goldilocks wheel and tire setup. And I actually think I did it. Check this out. So with where I typically ride, the #1 thing I need from my tire is traction. Given my 200-pound rider weight and my habit of yeeting myself through rock gardens almost daily, the other thing I need from my tire is robustness, robustitude. So I pretty much always reach for my all-time favorite tire, the Michelin DH22. This tire is so good. So much traction, so tough, but being a DH tire, it's also pretty weighty. But what if I can use these super light Berd spokes to build an incredibly light wheel set using carbon S35 hoops and an Industry 9 Hydra hub to offset some of that weight? That would be the best wheel and tire combo ever, right? As long as those spokes don't give out on me. And they didn't. They just kind of worked perfectly. Yo! Sorry, YouTube algorithm. The first ride on this wheel set was honestly pretty exciting. The moment I hit the trail, or even before that, just getting to the lift, because day 1 was bike park, it felt like I had a lightweight enduro wheel set on. And as someone who's been riding with DH22s as their full-time tire the last couple of seasons, that felt completely different. So I started heading down that first trail, and one of the things I noticed almost immediately is that I had all the traction that I was used to with the DH22, and then a little bit more, because I noticed a little tiny bit more compliance in the wheel set itself through the really rough chunder and when you're braking super hard. And what I was really stoked about is that despite feeling that extra compliance going through the rough stuff, I didn't feel any like mushiness when I was pressing hard into supported berms. So it kind of seemed like it was best of both worlds, and honestly, my wheels felt massively lighter. But that was only day 1. So while I had a really great time riding those first few laps of the park, when I was done riding that day, I did notice that the wheel was a little bit out of true. And this isn't something that's super out of line for a brand new wheel set. Usually you want to go and ride something for a couple hours worth of harder riding and then send it in for a final tensioning at your local shop. It's a good practice anyways, but I did find with these wheels that I had to go and do that. But after that final tension, they have been perfectly true, perfectly straight. I've had 0 issues with that from there on out. And that was back in early June. And the rest of the wheel set performed as you might expect. The Ibis S35 carbon wheels were flawless, 0 issues. Same goes for the Industry 9 Hydra hub. Everything just worked. There were no surprises other than just how light and nimble my wheel set felt now. And you will notice that these aren't the DH22 tires on here. One of the last things we did before the snow fell, which there's a lot of it and it's freezing cold outside right now, one of the last things we did was throw on a lighter weight trail set of tires to really see just how light we can get one of these while still being robust enough for mountain biking. Yeah. And with like a lighter weight trail tire on this wheel set, it's kind of silly how light it is. And what was funny is that with this ultra lightweight setup, it felt too light for me. I don't know, bashing through rough stuff, everything was fine, but it felt like I had no wheels there. It was a strange sensation. Yeah. But I have to say that Beth really loved this wheel and tire combo. As a lighter rider, she'll take everything as light as she can get it.
I've gotten a few rides in now on my new setup, and I just cannot get over how incredibly light they are. I mean, I got on the bike and I just couldn't believe how they wanted to go. First, I was totally freaked out. We were riding Swansea in the driest conditions where I'm already not the most confident. But just the grip that they have with that flex, I just feel more confident than ever.
And throughout the summer, I've had crashes on these things. I've had sticks in the spokes. At one point, somebody had their pedals stuck into the front spokes of this wheel, and they've been perfectly fine through all of it. No drama. But there are some downsides. So let's talk about those. So first, obviously, is the cost. The last time I checked, every one of these spokes is $8 USD, which 8 times 6, yeah. $512 US for a 32-hole wheel set. Beauty.
Also that, like right now, 512 times 1.37, that's 701 Canadian.
700 Canadian dollars. And that's just for the spokes themselves. That doesn't include the cost of actually getting those wheels built. So it's definitely one of those situations where you really, really want those weight savings and potential performance benefits. And number 2, spoke length is incredibly critical. You gotta be really bang on. The first time I sent the rims and the hub to get measured up to order the spokes, they were measured wrong just by the smallest little amount, but we didn't know that until we got the spokes in, laced them all up, and we just could not get them to tension properly. So in my opinion, I think that the best thing to do is to send your hubs and your rims to Berd spokes themselves or an authorized Berd dealer in your area if you have one to get those wheels put together. There's a little bit of extra know-how needed in this type of build. So other than a lighter wallet and maybe a longer wait time to get your wheels all built up, I don't really see any downsides to running these spokes. I was expecting to break at least one of them, and it never happened in some pretty extreme circumstances. I was able to run my dream tires on my wheels without totally weighing down my bike, and it improved the ride feel of the wheel set in general through the rough stuff. So are these Berd spokes worth the hype? Yeah. I think they are. But let me know what you think about all this down in the comments below. And if you are running Berd spokes on your setup currently, I really want to hear about your experiences with them. And lastly, if you want to see these Berd spoke wheels in action down a crazy BC bike park, click right there. Thanks for watching, everybody.